Hi and welcome to Witty and Gyani. This is Lisa, your friend, and today we're going to talk about the wannabe entrepreneurs, why they can't make it. So, पैसे कमाने का शौक सबको होता है। एंटरप्रेन्योर हर कोई बनना चाहता है और अभी तो जैसे स्टार्टअप की बाढ़ आ रही है, इट्स अ क्रेज। बट फिर भी स्टैटिस्टिकली हर 10 में से 9 स्टार्टअप्स अभी भी फेल होते हैं। अब इकोसिस्टम भी है, इंक्यूबेशन भी है, फिर भी दे आर फेसिंग फेलियर्स। लेट्स लुक इनटू इट व्हाई। द wannabe entrepreneur फिनोमेना। ये entrepreneur होता क्या है? सो entrepreneur ऐसे पर्सन्स होते हैं जो लैक ऑफ रिसोर्स, नॉलेज या मोटिवेशन की कमी से अपने ड्रीम्स को परसू नहीं कर पाते हैं। और क्यों नहीं कर पाते हैं? बिकॉज उनके अंदर entrepreneur बनने की इच्छा तो होती है, पर वो अपने नेसेसरी स्किल्स, रिसोर्सेज, नॉलेज और इन सब को अपग्रेड या अपस्किल नहीं कर सकते हैं। चाहे करना चाहते नहीं हैं या कर पाते नहीं हैं। दिस हिंडर्स देयर अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ entrepreneurial प्रोसेस। इसीलिए या तो वो डिस्करेज होकर छोड़ देते हैं या अपना कैश बर्न कर देते हैं। फिर बहुत फ्रस्ट्रेटेड और हेल्पलेस फील होकर ऐसी डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशन में आ जाते हैं जहां से उनके लिए entrepreneurship बिकम्स अ वेरी डिप्रेसिंग आइडिया। तो एक entrepreneur और एक wantrepreneur में फ़र्क क्या होता है? एंटरप्रेन्योर्स वो लोग होते हैं जो कम से कम 100 घंटे हर हफ्ते उसी पर्पस के लिए मेहनत करते हैं ताकि उन्हें 40 घंटे किसी और के लिए मेहनत ना करनी पड़े। दे आर द पीपल हु डू नॉट जनरली प्रेफर टू डू अ जॉब। दे डोंट इवन स्टॉप व्हेन दे आर टायर्ड। दे स्टॉप व्हेन दे आर डन with doing what they want to do. Entrepreneurs are crazy people who expect कि हम 60 घंटे काम करेंगे और 2 हफ्ते काम करेंगे और उसके बाद वी विल जस्ट सिट बैक टू एन्जॉय द fruits of our entrepreneurship journey. They hang their boots too quick and they want too much too soon. Well, this doesn't really happen. So, entrepreneurs, watch yourself. If you have a startup at your hand, if you have an entrepreneur idea, aspiration, और अगर आप चाहते हैं कि आप अपने बिजनेस आइडिया से बहुत सारा पैसा कमाएं पर नहीं कमा पा रहे हैं या फेल होने से डर रहे हैं, तो लेट्स फिगर आउट क्या आप एंटरप्रेन्योर की कैटेगरी में तो नहीं आ रहे हैं। सबसे पहले आई वुड लाइक टू टेल अबाउट द आइडिया डायरिया। ऐसे लोग जिनके पास बहुत सारे आइडियाज़ हैं और वो सब आइडियाज़ के बारे में सोचते रहते हैं और बहुत जल्दी जल्दी एक आइडिया से दूसरे आइडिया पे जंप करते हैं। एक प्रॉपर एक्शन प्लान भी नहीं बनाते हैं और किसी भी चीज़ को कंप्लीट नहीं कर पाते हैं। So this is the first characteristics. Unless you cover your idea, you would not be able to progress onto your entrepreneurial journey. Next problem is the victim dictum. Victim dictum say I mean about those people who would blame the government, the policies, the lack of capital, the issues in the family, it's not the right time, it's the economy, it's the politics, anything. They will just blame each and everything. They will not take the ownership of their business, their actions, inactions. They are not accountable people. They don't take responsibility. And that's the differentiation factor between a successful entrepreneur and another person who's just playing victim, who's enjoying the blame games. So, एक victim वाला person will always be full of excuses, blame games, denial, like oh I did this or no I did not do anything wrong. उनके लिए बहुत मुश्किल है to accept that they were wrong. So, if you are having any of these issues, time to introspect and get rid of this habit. Next is a daydreamer. This is a classic example of most of us. They say all entrepreneurs are dreamers, but entrepreneurs are those people who put their dream into action and not just dream. So you have to move from dreamer to be a doer. And you cannot be building castles in air and just talk about your dreams to people instead of putting it into action. There will not be a right time to start it. The best time to start and do is now. So start doing it. If you're dreaming about it, do it. My next here is a greed breed. They just want profit out of the business, and not just profit, they want a lot of it, and they want it very soon without really putting in all the sweat, blood that it requires. So, this leads to a complete destruction of the whole personality, the enterprise, and the self confidence within that person. This, I think, is the most dangerous one. You're working on an idea, you're going with it, but you just hang your boot too soon because it's not giving you enough. And enough is not justified in the timeline that you think is justified. Next, that I would like to talk about is the couch potato. The couch potato is the lazy kind. They like to think about things, but they like to sit there and do nothing. They do not put their ideas on paper. They do not put their ideas into action. They're very comfortable where they are. And I understand comfort is a very, very nice place to be in, but nothing grows in there that. So I believe with the philosophy of no pain, no gain. You would have read it outside any of the gyms. Most of the gyms and workout stations have these quotations, but the fact is, if you cannot sweat it, if you cannot work for it, you cannot really profit from it. There is no shortcut. Then there is a capital grapple, or a capital shackle, as you may call it. People think lack of investment would mean that the business would fail, or so that there are two extremes in this category. One who think because there is no investment right now, they think the business is doomed and it is bound to fail. So to them, I'd suggest please focus on the revenue and streamline the process, cut your costs, and see what is important, focus on those, and then you can go step by step. You can get funded. If you do not have a capital to start with, you can get funded later. Another category, which is a contradiction, a stark opposite of this kind, is the one who are loaded with funds and capital, and they think that they can they can just outspend the competition. So there is no process of some ousting your competition just because you can outspend the money. आप ज़्यादा खर्चा करके अपने competition को बाहर नहीं कर सकते. इवेंचुअली इस प्रोसेस में ज़्यादातर ये होता है कि आप अपना ही कैश बर्न कर चुके होते हो, एंड देन यू आर लेफ्ट विद नो मोर मनी to continue with the schemes that you had planned to build your business on. Next is solo bolo. So be on the lookout for any person who is alone in his entrepreneurial journey. Even the startup mentors, the VCs, the angel investors, the funds, they try to avoid investing in an individual. They prefer to work with people who have built a team, at least two to three people who are convinced with your idea, who like to work with you. That tells a lot about your team leadership and skills. So try to share share your idea with people, partner in with somebody, collaborate with others. Otherwise your idea may not actually become a real life business ever. And at least try to have two to three like-minded people with who believe in you, who can work in with you for your cause. And that is one thing that would take you forward, because at the end of it, a solo person would end up just being frustrated. This one this one I think it's very difficult for big mountains. This is for people who are already established corporates. They are multinational companies. They are present all across, but they fail to adapt. And despite the fact that they have been successful at one point in time, they cease to exist. For me, I take the classic example is Kodak, Nokia, BlackBerry, even Blockbuster video rentals, which decided to not upgrade themselves into digital world. And These are such classic examples that failed to adapt to the changing market conditions and technology, and this led to their downfall. Eventually, a multi-million dollar company turned bankrupt. So I understand it is very difficult for big companies to be agile and adapt, but IBM has done it. A lot of other companies that have survived in the last 20 years have done it, and they are continuously evolving. So take a cue from them and understand what can help you grow and sustain, not just grow, sustain in the changing times, because that is a very, very difficult challenge. My last key point, my second last key point here is the analysis paralysis. The thinking being, as they like to call themselves, oh, I'm thinking about it. I think I have this more factor to reconsider, or maybe this is one more thing that I would like to take care of before I launch the plan. So this one, whenever they have a new decision to make, they go round and round and round in a loop and eventually freeze right before they have to take action. They cannot take action. They are sitting on data, they are sitting on information, they are sitting on a plan, but they can't act. They get frozen. They are overthinking, they are second guessing, but they cannot really make a final decision with which they can act. And then it's too late. So serial entrepreneur. This is a very dignified word which most people have chosen for themselves when they have failed in multiple businesses. They, instead of identifying their failures, they identify different enterprises to enter into, different startups to get into, and call themselves, very proudly call themselves serial entrepreneur. Very few people have actually, very few as in rarely, very rarely have people been successful by being serial entrepreneurs. You have to have one business that's going for you, or if your business is building teams and people, that can be it. It can be renewable, it can be agri-tech, it can be anything, but it has to be one thing first. Once you're done with that, then you do another. Before that, you keep working on the process, correcting your process, so that you can do one right. If you can do one right, you can do other right. But if you haven't done the first right, you cannot do anything right at all. So with these points, I would like to bring to your attention how you can overcome the entrepreneur phenomena. If you can correct any of these 10 flaws that I've mentioned here, I think that would be really, really helpful in identifying who you really are, which direction you're heading, and what is it that you can do to be an entrepreneur, including networking with other entrepreneurs and seek out mentors. Ask from people who will be working in your sectors, who have some idea, who are better than you. Help them, seek their help. It's okay to ask for help. Share their resources, and then keep your spirits up, because this one is going to be a very, very long journey. It's not easy. Entrepreneurial journey is very, very risky. The chances are very low. The freedom is very high once you make it, but the risk are you may lose friends, you'd lose money. It requires more than 100 hours a week, and you might even fall in depression at times. But as you deal with it, you come out shining bright, and you're done with the challenges that it requires eventually to be successful. You're overcome all of your issues to be a successful entrepreneur, and in that journey, I wish you all the very best. Your friend at Vidya and Gyani, Lisa.